Hey Ofra Beauties, Maya Galore here. I'm a beauty influencer and content creator, and today we are going to be doing a full face of Ofra products that you've probably been sleeping on. Ofra has absolutely everything you need to slay your face, so we are going to be pulling out some products that you might not have heard of before, but you need to. Make sure that you do hit subscribe on the Ofra YouTube channel, and let's hop right into it. So we are going to start with the brows. We are going to go into the semi-permanent eyebrow gel, and this is in the shade dark brown. I'm gonna dip into this and I'm gonna start to shape out my brows. One thing I love about this brow gel is not only that it is pigmented, but it allows you to create like hair-like strokes, which is always good, and it's semi-permanent, so it stays all day. I'm gonna go ahead and fill in the other brow and then brush it out to make sure it is nice and blended. Next, I'm going to be taking this Contouring and Highlighting Cream Foundation Signature Palette to sculpt out my brows. And in a moment, we are going to dip back into this Signature Palette to sculpt out the face. I went ahead and brought the concealer down and primed the eye so we can pop into this very colorful eye. We're going to be using the Bright Addiction palette, and we are going to be creating a pastel type of eye look today. The first thing that I'm going to do is take the shade brown here, and I'm going to take a fluffier blending brush, and I'm going to work this into the corners of my lid. And I'm just using circular motions and wiping back and forth to make sure this is nice and blended, because this will act as a transition for the brighter, more pastel shade we're gonna go into on the lid. And the pigment of this brown shade, unmatched. And if you want to build it up, it's perfect for that. Now it is summertime, and I feel like the perfect thing to do for summer is to go in with a pastel eye, and a matte eye at that. So I'm gonna dip into the shade Ocean Blue, and that is what we're gonna put on our lid today. I am just gonna go in and start to stamp that shade all around on our lid to make sure we get the color payoff we need, which is not hard to get, obviously, with this palette. As well as kind of ombre it up into the skin area to make sure it is nice and blended. And then with the same brush that I use for brown, I'm just going to lightly go around the perimeter of that blue to make sure it is blended into the deeper shade. The last thing we're gonna do for these eyes is add a liner. I'm gonna go into my Fix Line eyeliner, and this is in black. And I'm gonna take a thin eyeliner brush, dip into this, and create a wing. Now our brows and our eyes are pretty much done. We're gonna hop into the face. I'm gonna be using my Ofra primer, and this is a silicone gel primer, which is absolutely perfect for making sure the skin is ready for our foundation and just helping it to last even longer throughout the day. We all already know that Ofra got us covered when it comes to the foundation. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw on my Absolute Cover Foundation, and this is a full coverage formula, and this is the shade number 8. And I am blending this out with my Ofra sponge. It is the color and the shade match for me. I love it. Next, we are going to take the Contouring and Highlighting Signature Palette, and we are going to use this to sculpt out our face. I'm going to use the shade number 6 right here to highlight my face. So I'm going to use this underneath my eyes, down my nose, as well as above my lips and a little bit on my forehead. And I'm going to take my Ofra sponge and I'm going to go ahead and start to blend this out. I absolutely love this cream formula because it really blends out very smooth and seamlessly. And I also love that there are multiple shades in this one signature palette. So if you really want to sculpt and have some really lighter areas, some darker areas, this is like the perfect palette. Because it's always nice to sculpt after foundation so that we get some kind of definition into the face. Next, I'm going into the shade number 29, which is a deeper shade right here. And I'm going to use that just to add a little bit of some deeper dimension to the face as well. I'm going to frame out my forehead with this shade, as well as accentuate my cheekbones and around my nose. And then I'm just going to go ahead and blend that out, which will continue to help us create definition in the face. Next, we are going to set the face. Ofra does have a translucent powder. So we're gonna go into this translucent powder in the shade dark. I'm gonna use my sponge to push that powder into my highlighted areas and then use a bigger brush to set everywhere else. And this powder definitely makes the skin nice, smooth, velvety finish, which I absolutely love. I love to look mattified, and this powder definitely does the job. For my bottom lash line, I am going to go ahead and smoke it out on the corners using the same shade brown from the Bright Addictions palette. I am leaving it more on the corner so that it doesn't kind of take over the eye and close us up too much. And then to emphasize my bottom lashes, I'm going into my HD Volumizing Mascara. And I'm gonna use this to define my bottom lashes. Next, we are going into blush. I want a nice pinky blush today, so we are going into the blush in the shade Cosmo. And I'm just gonna take a blush brush, dip into this, which does have a mirror. Always good when our compacts have a mirror. And I'm just going to add a flush of color to my cheeks, a little bit over the nose, because that is trending right now to give us more of that flushed look. Now, I know y'all see this pigment in this blush. It's beautifully pigmented, but it's not too much, you know? I'm adding my Glow Goals highlighter, and y'all already know that Ofra brings it with the highlighter options, so we're not gonna focus too much on the highlight, but we do want to put emphasis on defining the lips. I'm gonna use my Ofra lip liner, and this is in the shade Chestnut. So I'm gonna go ahead and define my lips with this lip liner, and then in the middle of my lips, I'm gonna go into the liquid lipstick, which is in the shade Aspen. All right, Ofra Beauties, that wraps it up for today's tutorial using all of the Ofra products that you've probably been sleeping on. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.